due to the fact there's nobody from the public here at this time, we'll just wait till someone shows up. Unless there's somebody who has some questions about the, the proposed budget is what we pared down from the tentative budget. We all have that, it's been available.
You gotta push it up a little bit. There you go. Yep.
That's the next year's budget. So we'll talk about this a little bit later, just make music. I want to have coffee with these guys in 150 cities across Paris and the United States. It's nothing that we're really going to have to approve or anything. It's just one of these things that on the 21st, if you think you're a musician, you just come outside and go to a venue and play music, or whether it's a harmonica or guitar, or if you have a venue, it could be the Martin Davis, little lead court out front, and somebody could just play music, and it sounded pretty cool.
It is.
PS21's gonna have something, they have something playing in the morning for the 21st, but they're also gonna work on some of this. They pretty much wanna keep it local to the village, if you will. They may be using a gazebo for, say, a drumming group or whatever. Once this gets up and going, they've been doing this for many years. I talked to the director and one of the board of directors and the president. He came in from New York City, we had a couple cups of coffee. When they tell you go to Stony you can only have coffee. You just stay awake all day.
I'm testing.
But I thought it was pretty cool.
Sounds cool.
Anything you could bring into the community that's going to bring foot traffic. It's not going to have to do with closing streets, or we'll talk about it.
It's Father's Day.
Why, of course, Desiree.
Joe, thank you so much.
Sam doesn't want me singing in front of the store.
I'll do it. Thanks.
Sir, could you please leave?
Well, it's over with before like 9, 10 o'clock at night, when you get away with that stuff.
When I go on the Wi-Fi here, it always says no internet access.
People lock us and people.
You have to talk to Joe.
That's government for you. Are you sure you're trying to get on the right one? You have two.
VOC yes.
Internal. VOC internal's not popping up.
I was on the other one. Okay, that's a different passcode.
It should be the same pass the one you've always used on that one.
Let's see if that gets me.
Jim, don't talk to that guy.
I've been on it before.
No, I didn't get
Get to it.
it. Got,
It
yeah,
does
it
go
got
out when it's
pushed
released
around on my
sometimes,
list
and I didn't
today.
say that, but that's actually the truth.
Yeah.
I'll probably call. He
The
works at
internet
he's a
goes out
9 to 5
sometimes
guy.
when it's raining.
No,
I
he'll
see
always
last
answer the
night.
phone. When
Same
he
thing.
retired,
I didn't
he
pick up.
came back as the IT guy. He's there all the time.
Okay.
But he's only supposed to be part-time.
Okay.
I didn't get all
I'll
the
try him in
emails,
the
so
morning then.
I didn't finish them.
Maybe I'll try him at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Jimmy the lock guy is coming tomorrow. Okay.
Boy, I'm glad we made this 6:45 and not 6:30 like I was going to.
Oh, it's 6:58.
Yeah, let's let Pete said it.
I said, does it have to be 15-minute increments, or could we do like 6:55?
Yeah.
You
Do
can.
that.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't know if you guys are interested, but I've gone to the mayor's conference a couple years in a row.
You just have to remind me.
Hey.
And it's coming up if I wanted to go. I believe it's more than the budget for this year.
Hi, Mary Ellen.
How are you, John?
We are currently in a public hearing. It's very quiet. If you're, no, if you're here,
It's for you.
I guess it's for you, but I mean, are you here for,
You're the public.
you here for the public hearing for the budget or
No, not for the
something?
budget.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure we hear everybody.
Would you like to be here for the budget?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I should.
Sorry.
What's going on?
Where, at my house? My brother sells his own beer. My brother-in-law, sorry, sells his own beer now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a German Kolsch, and the pub here sells it. So I picked up a bunch of empty kegs for my brother-in-law. He watched me on
I live across the
the
street from him. and
Oh, nice.
I saw him unloading all these kegs this morning. I said, you have the party?
I just leave the work.
There's quite a few, yeah.
Yeah,
It was quite a few.
I know, first, doing him a favor.
Did you get a new bathroom?
No,
Oh.
first.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah, my son came over the house, he goes, Dad, you know there's a black smoke coming from your chimney?
Oh, no.
I don't think that's good.
We just had to have the liner replaced in our furnace. It was, yeah, it wasn't done right the first time when it was done.
It's always nice.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about furnaces.
Work, I think they paid them. I sent out the check.
You did,
They did come, if I said, okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Yeah.
Because I paid them in full instead of in half, so.
It didn't take, it took 2 or 3 hours
Oh, wow.
to chimney?
Jimmy,
That's
yeah,
good.
they did everything they said they were going to do and they were spot on.
Nice.
So, we didn't know who to reach out to. Phil hooked us up, right? Desiree called and they said, bing, 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 this is what we do, and they did what they said they were gonna do.
What's that, sorry?
Northeast Chimney,
Yeah.
out of like East Chimney. We had a liner, if we had a liner here, and it disintegrated, and it was causing problems, and in this building, the size of it stuff, we thought it was gonna be an astronomical, it wasn't cheap, but they gave us a price and they stuck right to it. They gave us a time, they said how long it would take, and they dialed right in.
Like a old school.
Yeah, no. We have a bunch of people coming, we have to move some chairs.
You didn't ask me about that.
No, it's not. You got a few minutes before budget. How much time do you have for budget?
They have as long as it'll take. No, Joanne, Winnie, you bring the chairs in, because we're not,
We'll wait till you're done.
we're not even having a discussion, it's a public hearing, and nobody wants us to hear them.
I said we adjourn it, just do it. Yeah, because just taking the chairs from the front and moved them over.
No, amazing. I didn't bring our dogs.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Kiki!
No, we have about 5 minutes to go, and then we'll start a regular meeting.
Yeah, here's the drinking part.
No, well, that's good or bad.
Hey, yeah.
So we're just finishing up our public hearing. If somebody wants to chime in about the budget, we got about 4 minutes. We'll start a regular meeting. Our public hearing for the budget started at 6:45. We do have some handouts here, and I have to probably surmise that some or most of you hear about the drone. So there's some information here. There's a justification sheet as well as a letter from the congressman, as well as some technical information if you want that. It's been online, I think most of it. So Dana?
Yeah, we can pull a chair over here too.
So again, we're being recorded, so just because it's a budget public hearing and I'm not hearing anything, I just want to let everybody know that we've had some real challenges this year with the budget. As you all know, the world of events and stuff, and the cost is going up, and the revenues aren't going up. We're looking at a 2% tax increase, which for me personally amounts to $14 for the year. That's my newspaper and coffee and a donut 2 days out of the year. It's not a lot, but we dipped deeply into our unallocated fund balance to balance this budget. The last 6 years, we've had a flat budget. There's been no tax increases. And unfortunately, whatever the state of affairs are, we're looking at a 2% this year. From our proposed budget to today's tentative budget, we cut $153,000 out of what the requests were. And that's kudos to our department heads. And, you know, we're trying to keep things affordable, obviously. And I think we have. Unless anybody has any comments, we'll wrap this up here in a minute or two and we'll start with a regular meeting. But I appreciate everybody coming out. Trash, let me know.
Do you have a contractor?
Well, we're going to bid.
Oh, you are.
We just finished in the last year of a 3-year contract. The cost of trash removal, like anything else, liability, health insurance have all gone up. Instead of doing a 3-year contract, we're looking at a 1-year contract. We've been meeting with the Village of Lake and Village of Kinderhook to see what we can do collaboratively, and there's really no savings in that regard, but we're looking at all our avenues. Trash seems to be not a problem, it's starting to be costly, and we're trying to keep those numbers down. It's just one area.
That was newsletter, or what was the newsletter? To bring out the process of trash. It's like when you move here,
Right.
I didn't know when I moved here for nothing, I figured it out.
Yeah, and I think Desiree and Sam have had a good idea, is to put together a trifold for new residents to come into the community, to say, this is what this is what, not only trash, but this is what's available, and, you know, when you come to the windows and that person say, I want to get a water account, how do I do this? You give them the whole thing, this is what we offer, this is, you know. So, we talked about it, you know, that's a work in progress. And we're getting a lot of new homeowners, properties changed, where people come in and ask the same question.
Sure, I did when I moved here.
So I'm gonna close the public hearing at this time, unless somebody has anything else regarding the budget. And I'll call the regular monthly meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And again, our agendas are online. The budget was online for review. We are taped. Our meetings are all recorded. Our clerks, Desiree and Sam, do a great job of getting the minutes out in a very timely fashion, so people have an opportunity, and they're all videotaped, so you get to see those. Having said all that, I'm just going to set aside the first public comment period for a few minutes. Dana Rasso from Shaker Museum regarding, we've had for everybody in the room, we've had a conversation going on with the Shaker Museum regarding a gala event in June? July, June. So I'll let Dana go. She's going to give us an update.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if I brought enough copies, but I did print out some copies of our updated event description that I'm going to submit, along with some letters from the neighbors on Depot Square giving permission, which I accidentally printed on our letterhead, so please don't tell anyone because I'll get yelled at.
All right.
So,
You can just
yeah.
That's fine.
So the reason I'm here is because we are in the process of planning our fundraising benefit, which is going to happen on June 27th, which is a Saturday. And we are trying to figure out a way to configure the party, for those of you who haven't been here before, in a public place, because clearly our museum has no roof right now, and so it's not ready for that. But what we're hoping to do is have a tent and have it in Depot Square, what would be closest to Building 6, which is the big red barn next to Harrington's, which is part of Harrington's. And so the benefit description, which is something I updated since I had submitted it last, details not only the plan in terms of operations and putting the tent up and everything, but also the work that we're doing right now to secure parking for the event. And because obviously we're very aware that parking is at a premium, and it is, right in the middle of town. So we have a lot of calls out, which we have heard back from a number of both private folks, private businesses, and also churches and things like that. I also, this didn't make it into here, but I also did hear back from St. James. So right now we have accounted for, we are estimating that there will be 125 cars, which is an estimate, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, and I'll have a better idea soon. But we have managed to find accommodations by borrowing folks' parking lots at night, all within walking distance, for about 115 of those cars. And there's a little rundown of each of those places. But in addition, we also got confirmation from St. James that will allow us to use both their parking lots, because apparently they also have the parking lot next to where Key Bank used to be. So that is where I am with the parking. And we are also discussing the idea of shuttling people to the event, but we're hoping that with this identification of parking spots, that we will not have to do that. But all of the staff and the folks who are going to be working at the party and board members and things will be parking up at Jones Avenue, which is where our library and admin offices are. So I will add that this is our largest fundraiser. It helps us secure all of our operations and programming budget, and I really appreciate all of the help that the village has offered and wise suggestions and just really partnership and fellowship that everyone I've spoken to has offered, and it feels really nice to be part of that. And so I am here to humbly ask for your permission for us to put up a tent on the 27th, the morning of the 27th, and take the tent down by midday on the 28th, which is Sunday. And that's it.
Let me just, for the record, that we've been working with Dana and the executive director. We've met numerous times. Chief Alessi has been very much involved in this and has made some recommendations which they have taken and switched things up at his recommendations regarding where the tent would be, so it would not impact the community as much as it could have been if it was, say, closing Park Row. This is off the street, it's off over by the warehouse. They're going to be using the Masonic building, Jack Shear's space. Parking is and always will be a concern regardless whether it's this or something else. They've done a great job. My understanding is, and Desiree, correct me if I'm wrong, is they've had an application in to do this. They've supplied the insurance information, everything that we've required of them to possibly use the green space by the gazebo. So that's all in order as we speak tonight. This is probably our third or fourth conversation. And I think we're at a point where we can make a decision and move this now. I know we don't have a resolution here. We can make one tonight. Are there any questions from the board?
No, I just want to clarify, Harrington's will be open that Saturday?
They will be, and they say that it's no trouble for them, which is really generous of them.
Yeah, we've asked them, and they supplied, Dana's got that as a letter from Americans as well as Community Bank, that they support this, and they're fine, because that was one of our concerns was we would be impacting their business, and they want to be community-minded team players, and they, at the Shaker Museum behest, said that, they're all in. That was happening. And there is a segment of this is open to the public also. It's not a closed operation. They'll have their function and it's going to be open to the public at some point. Correct me if I'm
Yes,
wrong.
we're going to have an after party, and there's going to be music and food and a cash bar. It will either be free or like a sliding scale suggested donation, so no one is going to be turned away if they don't want to.
So I think that was one of our early concerns was let's not make this a private function on a public space. Let's make it open to everybody. So in fact, they've worked with us and we've worked with them, and I feel pretty comfortable that they've answered all our questions unless somebody else had.
What time of day is this?
So the party, the benefit party portion will begin at 6 p.m. and wrap up around 8:30 p.m., maybe 9, and then the after party begins right about then. And we don't anticipate that everyone who's going to go to the benefit is going to want to go to the after party. So we may be starting things slightly simultaneously as one thing wraps up. But I'll have more information about the after party, who's going to be DJing or, that sort of thing, and what kind of food we plan to have. And I do have to still speak with Aaron and with Chief Alessi about, any sort of rules and regulations that go along with that. So I will have more firm details after that.
Harrington's is going to open the Jail Street entrance and exit for traffic out of Harrington.
Not that I'm aware of. That
The
was,
what?
That's what I see here in a letter from Harrington's, that they're going to use the Jail Street, well, the Kinder Hill.
I'll have to verify that.
I read that, didn't pick it up.
I'll have, well, that's a good catch, Ralph.
Dana, do you have a website or a place that we can, where you might be posting all the final details?
Yes, I am, but I didn't want to get ahead of myself because I didn't, I wanted to make sure that we had the go-ahead, and then I'll be putting things up.
Let's just verify that, Joe, and I think what you have to understand here is Harrington's closes early on a Saturday.
They do, yes.
So they wouldn't have that open. Once the tent goes up, there will
Yes,
be no
7
traffic.
to 2, I think, they're open.
Yeah, so I wouldn't think that would be an issue, but let's just verify that, so that.
Is Jail Street not owned by Zentis?
Yes.
No, well, the street is Harrington's. Harrington's owns the street, as I
Yeah,
understand it.
it's a
Jail
Kinhook,
Street.
it's a Kinhook Street address of the house that's in there. Harrington's owns that gate.
So are they responsible to keep that road up?
That's kind of,
Is it really like
That's the potholes are unbelievable.
and that's one of those unknown dark areas that, the village has never maintained it.
Yeah,
But we can take a look at that.
yeah. Great.
Any other questions?
Oh, you've just done such a great job. This is so organized and you've brought so much to the table, Dana, so thank you.
I really appreciate it, and I really truly appreciate everyone here who's welcomed me back several times, so thank you.
All right, that's a question we still have to answer. Joe, if you don't, you and I, we can meet with Harrington and just, I'm not a fan of doing that.
I'm not concerned that they're going to need to. Based on my original plan, the barriers that would segment off the tent will go from the corner of their fence to the corner of the curb on the west side of the fence. So they will still have access to their yard right up until 3 o'clock. So they won't.
After that, it's,
And then after that, it's not a big deal. After that, we'll limit traffic, but
okay.
they'll have access to their yard so they can get trucks in and out. The only thing they won't be able to use is the garage bay doors on the depot side of but they have the entrance on the other side, so.
All right, well, that
I think they're thinking that it's gonna get closed down, but they'll have access to their yard
they should not have
through
to
the
use,
closing of their business.
they should not have to go out Jail Street.
Yeah.
I also think, sorry, to just interject, I think that this might be a leftover from when we had initially asked the permission to be slightly closer to the front of their building. So that might be why they included the Jail Street thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I don't think there will be any hindrance.
Personally, I'd like that to go away. Jail Street.
I can ask them to resubmit us a letter and I'll share.
Yeah, and we have neighbors that are impacted by that. Okay, we're gonna go on to the first public comment period. We have a number of public here, I know many of you here, it's gonna take a while, yes. If somebody would like to make a comment now, we do have some business and we'll get to those resolutions later in the meeting, but it's public comment period, so if anybody would like to address the board.
Well, I'll start. I'm not really prepared to speak on this because Michael was going to come and speak, but unfortunately he was called away. I am feeling that there is not a need for a drone here in the village. I feel that we have a part-time force that does the best that they can, but sometimes things happen here and there is no village police coverage due to their schedule, John. And I feel, and I know I happen to, Mary Ellen just mentioned to me, her son is in charge of the state police drones.
Sheriff's
Sheriff's
Department.
Department.
Sheriff's
I'm very
Department
familiar with that.
drones. So, you know, I feel that because I've had to call the police for an emergency issue, and I was referred all the way to the state police at the time of day I made my call, that I feel covered by what we have now as far as safety between our part-timers and between the sheriff's department and the state. And I don't, and I, you know, okay, I'm gonna speak from my heart right now. I don't like the idea of a drone going around the village. I want the village to be preserved more like it's been since I moved here 40 years ago. And this just seems very intrusive to me. People like to drink beer and barbecue in their yards, and I think they would feel offended by a drone hovering around.
You've never been in my yard.
I mean, you know, people sit by their pools and, you know, all sorts of things.
It's understood.
And we have a very, our Kingdom Street community is extremely close-knit. And we are always there for each other, but we allow each other privacy. And I think privacy is important today because everybody's got my information that I don't want to have it, and I just don't want another. That's how I'd like to start off the conversation. And I know some of my neighbors here have something to say.
Gavin.
Thank you. Gavin Preuss, I'm at 36 Kindoak Street. I am a commercial FAA registered drone operator, and I fly drones weekly, primarily for real estate and architectural photography. So I have some experience of people stomping up to me saying I'm going to shoot that thing out of the air, and I point out to them when they do that if they did that, they would be violating federal law because the airspace above us is federal aviation airspace, and it would therefore be a federal offense. Now, I try to befriend them, explain what I'm doing and why I'm not violating their privacy. I'm not well prepared to speak on this proposal because I've only I do have concerns about privacy, and I have an anecdotal story to tell. Some of what this aims to do is the kind of drone that's being envisaged isn't entirely suitable. And if you go to suitable drones for example, looking for missing children, or you would, A, it can happen at night, B, you would need infrared devices that can pick up a human signature in bush. If the children are in the street somewhere, it's easy enough to find them. They're often, if that's the case, hidden, and you're not going to use a drone to find a child, for example, in my view. But I want to share an anecdotal story about why this scares me a little, and I don't want to take up too much time. I was flying my drone a while back, and I'm going to name names, but Sheriff Bartlett was in the vicinity, and he came up and we had a very friendly chat. I told him that when I had been in protests in Hudson, I noticed the sheriff department's drones in the air. And I didn't tell him that that bothered me, but I said, I know the sheriff's department has a drone up. And he volunteered of his own, yes, we can look right in at who's in the crowd and pick out faces. And that is an aspect of this that I would be very concerned about. My interaction with local police have been friendly. I have no reason to believe anyone is out to get me. I've been treated with nothing but dignity and respect by our local police force. If there's search and rescue needs, maybe the fire brigade should have one in some situations. But it's not so much the cost of what's being proposed. I wonder whether this particular equipment, and I forgot my glasses at home, so I'm not reading the fine print, is actually suitable. And there are costs there that are not factored in. The cost of insuring drones, the cost of training and keeping pilots current and FAA compliant, because the minute you're up there, you're in FAA airspace. You would need more than just the officer on duty, because the one person who's qualified to fly it could be on holiday. So you have some very big gaps to cover, which I don't think the proposal has thought through. But for me personally, the idea that you're up there picking my face out of a crowd and registering it with a drone when I am peacefully walking along waving my banner, that would be a hesitation and a leaning toward a society I'm not comfortable with, because we are neighbors. We look out for each other, we look after each other where we can, we mow each other's lawns. If a kid goes missing, we're all out there doing what we can at ground level. I could say more, I think I've taken enough oxygen.
Understood. Can I just, a month ago, we were going to move this, and I asked to table it, because I wanted a justification from the chief. Have you read the justification?
I have read some of it.
And I thought he did a very good job doing a justification, because it's not, I would never stand for what you know, and I get it. You can believe it, or you don't have to believe it. But he did a justification, and at the same time, Congressman Riley sent a letter of support, because he's met with first responders and this grant money is available. We don't take it, we don't take it. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. But I think it's very detailed, this justification. That is not what our goal is to be chasing people around town to take pictures. Can you? Yes. Go ahead.
It's not the only aspect of it that would necessarily concern me. And if you told me first responders need to have this, then I would take it out of law enforcement hands and give it to people who might be dealing with fire and emergency ambulance services. I don't know. There are aspects of it that bother me, and I forgot my glasses, so I squinted through this. So I want to confess right now. I don't want to take much more time with this. And I heard about this in our neighborhood in passing because I happened to bump into someone. I'm not here sitting thinking that our police department want to use this for nefarious means. In the back of my mind, I kind of also say, and this introduces a political dynamic, the president's sons have just been given board membership and shares of drone companies, while foreign-made drones are being excluded, including the models I fly, on quite what seem to me spurious grounds, and suddenly there's grant money for all this drone activity, while private drone contractors are being squeezed in other ways. So there are aspects of this that I would want to be far better prepared to speak on, but the overall picture worries me, and I thought I would come and express that concern, because I don't, Chief Alessi, I don't think the police are here to work against us on this. But if you are here to work with us, then some aspects of this and the possible uses, which today we say we're not going to do and next week things change, I have some real concerns. But thank you.
Well, we'll take it. We'll take it.
May I?
Go ahead. Sure.
Just, I'll be quick. Under the operational need and public safety benefits, which are awesome, God forbid we ever need any of these, has a study been done that would show in a village this, if not in Chatham, but in a village this size, like a comp, how often do these things, I mean, when they happen, it happens, but I'm wondering, does the state police do the state police have a drone? Does the county have a drone?
Yes.
Are there other drones that, if God forbid something like this happened, I just wonder if there's an easier way to, I know the money's there, but I just wonder if there's an easier way. And also, I too worry about the privacy aspect, and I know that you guys in this room are the most honest, trustworthy people in that I would put my life in your hands. But none of us are here forever, and I don't want to think about a drone flying around and say, "Hey, they building a shed down there. Ooh, look like that." I don't need that kind of. Not that I am, and not that I want to.
Don't believe her.
But I just.
We know about it before the drone.
That's true.
Now, I don't want to get into a debate, because this is basically, an opportunity for you people to speak, but I do want to answer a couple of those questions. Sheriff's Department has drones, state police have drones. They don't all have them in their cars at the same time. I'll give you an example. Within the last 6 weeks, we had dispatched the fire department. Do I go to 11 o'clock at night for a plane down on the north end at Kleinkill Airport? Don't know whether it's a 2-seater, 6-seater, jetliner. They dispatch the Chatham Fire Department Rescue Squad, police agencies. We go out. It's coming from Boston, the FAA out of Boston, with these coordinates in the middle of a field at 11 o'clock at night. We asked the Sheriff's Department for a drone. They were there an hour later. It actually took them longer than that, because they had to go to the office and get, and I know Patrick, we work with Patrick on a regular basis. We asked for a drone. It took a long time. They ended up with 3 fire departments, multiple members out there, volunteers running around the woods at night. It was a non-event. Could have helpful. Maybe we wouldn't have had anybody on at that time, but it's just another tool in the toolbox. Now, a week later, do I come down Locust Street, and there was an individual having a mental event sitting on the railroad tracks on Locust Street. I don't know what he was going to do, but that's not a good place to be. I called 911, they dispatched the state police. Trooper got there, we didn't have a patrol on. And he said, "We've been looking for this guy, we were here 2 hours ago, he ran off into the woods." Maybe we could have helped. He was having a mental issue. Again, privacy is very important. But these are just 2 things that I lived in the last 6 weeks where it may have been beneficial. And being in the background I've been in over the years with emergency services, and I've worked with police and fire, you have somebody with dementia, it's a sad thing. And the Sheriff's Department, the state police, they have drones, and we do use them. But we have events here, whether it's traffic events and stuff that, quite frankly, could be useful. Totally understand the justifications, as the chief saw, and some of the laws that are written in there. Same thing we run across with LPR cameras and stuff. We just had a long FOIL request, which we answered about the use of cameras. We have one. We're very locked down, and when you bring up a good point, we're not all going to be here 5 or 10 years now. I totally understand that. So again, I'm somewhat in support of it. I recognize, and believe me, I spend time in South Carolina, and I look up when I'm on the beach, I'm going, this is not accessible. It truly isn't. So, again, I don't want to get into a debate. I want to take your information. We'll make a conscious decision, I would think. So anybody else, please? Yes, Nick?
So this was your purchase, your own drone?
Yes.
You mentioned to me, what is a drone as first responder? Operated out of the sheriff's office, it's completely remote, they get a call, and it's dispatched. That's what got. Why couldn't we purchase that? Is it much more money? Much more money.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he said that, Jackie, the sheriff wanted to try and get one of these.
And Chief Alessi's sat with the sheriff here in the last 2 weeks or so
Uh-huh.
and had a long conversation with the sheriff. We recognize the sheriff's department has it, but they're the same as we, the state police. People think because there's no barracks up here in Chatham, that now we have state police here. That's not the case.
Right.
That is not the case. It's just a different building with the same number of people that have to go to Lebanon and Stuyvesant. So, again, and their drone operators may be off for a week. They don't hand it over to another trooper. There's people, as Gavin alluded to, that are trained in this. We've also had 2 of our members that have been asked and invited to an FAA drone training seminar, no cost to the village, to bring us up to speed. So we're working on that, but again, understand, more comments. Yes, Steve?
I'm just curious about the budget. We were talking about the budget before, Howard. It's challenging right now. And Gavin mentioned insurance. You mentioned training costs. What are the costs? What are the expenses for maintaining it, a drone, insurance, the liabilities, and the training?
They're good questions, and I don't have the total answer right now. We do build a little bit into our budget. This particular grant that we've had since 2024. It was put in the unappropriated fund balance, so it was before the world events. It's an appropriate, some of these grants are, you can only use them for specific items. This fits that bill. It's $12,000 and change, I believe. If we don't take it, somebody else is going to get it, somewhere else is going to put a drone on, which is fine too. I mean, I'm okay with that, but we're out beating the bushes all the time for these grants, and Chief Alessi's been very successful in bringing in grants to help reduce the cost of the operation of the police department. We haven't talked about insurance. I'll be very honest with you, and that's a question we can have answered in a short period of time. We have a very robust insurance policy, covers, for the life of God, it covers a lot, and it costs us some money. So yes, it's a consideration, but again, this is an avenue that's been availed to us, and if we choose not to take it, we choose not to take it. But they're all good questions.
Can I ask Joe? Joe, do you know the difference between the drone as first responder and this drone?
Yes. Yep, drone as a first responder is a, we'll call it unmanned, so you don't have a pilot. It's operated from a dispatch center. The ultimate challenge, or ultimately, yes, in speaking with Sheriff and other municipalities, that's where we're going. The problem is that entry cost is roughly $300,000. So,
We're not doing that.
so, same question the sheriff had, we put our heads to, like the mayor said, we put our heads together, trying to come up with how we come up with additional funding. It is just it's not a easy thing to get to. The other thing is there is ranges and limitations to drone as first responder. City of Schenectady, in the city itself, operates a handful of them. A drone coming out of the sheriff's office off their Greenport building would be minimal use to us because the flight time that it would have when it got here would be minimized. So realistically, there needs to be one in all 3 sections of the county, the north, the middle, and the south, in order to even start that conversation to be useful. But yes, that is on my grant list, and that is something that we have talked about and how we get that money moving forward.
Can I ask a quick question?
It just seems like such a good option, you know, if they get a call.
What, $12,000 or $300,000?
I know.
Yeah.
That's, you know, you get to a certain point where,
You're striving.
The certifications, insurance costs
Yeah.
is all the same. You still need to have Part 107 pilots. You're still operating an aircraft, so you still are in the same boat. You know, it's just, again, the drone can do exactly the same thing that this one can do. It's just how it's piloted. So the drone as a first responder is point and click piloted, so it doesn't change the conversation that we're having here today. It's just a different aspect of drone operation.
So, just
Go ahead,
a
no,
quick
go ahead, no,
question,
sure,
I would
sure.
like to ask the chief. So the drone that you're proposing, you would, or the trained personnel, would be out there with the drone? It's not going to be done from Village Hall, the piloting?
No, the pilot would be on scene
On
of
the
whatever the incident was.
The legal requirement for the pilot is that the drone is never out of his line of sight.
Okay.
So there are exceptions to that, but with these kinds of drones that are being proposed, if you cannot see it, then you are breaking the law.
And that applies to law enforcement as well?
I would imagine if it's a Part 107 license, all those, you can, there are certain instances where you can apply for and get exemption, but they often have to be planned way in advance with very sophisticated permissions and safety protocols in place. So there might be exemptions that I'm unaware of, but that's the law as it basically applies.
Thank you.
anything else?
Just to say that, this justification that we have now, you leave, all these people leave, new people come in,
It could change,
yeah.
clearly, and
And so-
I can't tell you what's gonna happen in the next 20 minutes in this country.
I know.
The way things are happening, and Eileen, I understand that, I totally do. We can only deal with what we have in front of us today. This is an avenue, an opportunity that's afforded us through a grant. If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through, and it's not gonna be the end of the world. But I'll just give you another crazy thing. We had a risk management guy from the insurance company come through last year. They look at the buildings, and we just spent $10,000 this last week here to do a fire study for this building, $10,000, to tell us what we're doing right or wrong. But out of some of that, a year ago, we have to do roof inspections now annually, because we're in NYMER, the insurance. I said to Aaron, our code enforcement officer, you gotta crawl up on the roof. So I'm not gonna do that, but we can do it with a drone. So, just, there's a lot of opportunities, and I totally get this privacy. Believe me, I totally do. And I'm not gonna debate that tonight. We'll have a resolution later, and we'll act on it, and we'll take that, again, I'm not gonna dismiss anything you all brought, but I think some of it is, I wanna commend Chief Lessie for being transparent, and when we asked him to back up and pump the brakes, because we had a resolution to do this, and I said, let's pump the brakes, Joe, Chief, and he put this together, and this is, we're trying to cover those bases as we do with our LPRs, and make sure that we're not stepping over those bounds. Hey, the peace group on Saturday was down here, we're not gonna fly a drone over, God bless you all. And I'll stand there and I'll give the finger. But the point is, okay, then we have the fair with 20,000 people in here. And we're not gonna run it down the midway to look at people. We're looking at traffic flows. We're looking at an EMS call where somebody has a heart attack, traffic's backed up. Could a drone be helpful? I think so. Patrick has helped us. He's been down there. And I can't think of Trooper Hickey. Trooper Hickey is the drone pilot in the local area. We work closely with these people, and we would continue to work with them. It's just another tool for the toolbox. And I totally understand, you know, the surveillance and, you know.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
We have control of the drone, the village. Is there anybody that stops the federal government or state government to say, this is what we want you to do? Since we gave you the drone for this $12,000 drone, now you have responsibility for what we want you to do with it.
So the grant's a state grant, it's not a federal grant.
Okay, so it's the state.
It's a state grant, and no, how we operate is within our bounds of operating.
If that was ever to change, I'd say, throw a drone in the trash.
We have it back.
Right,
You have it back.
exactly.
There's no strings attached.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah, there's no, the only requirement from the state is that it's registered and operated within certifications. And then we're an accredited agency, so our policies are overseen by DCJS on how we operate that drone as well.
Steve, you bring up a good point also, as I was 25 years in the fire coordinator's office, I oversaw the Columbia County hazmat team. And back in the day when we started with weapons of mass destruction and training, and the state gave us a whole bunch of equipment, very expensive, high-tech analytical equipment. And then 4 years ago, they walked away and said, Mayor, take care of it. You know, so it's sustainment of that particular equipment. It's a concern also.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point, and I'm all about not having big government tell us, okay, here's your drone, but now do this and do that. No, that would not be acceptable. Anything, go ahead, Peter, sir.
To response to like a drone at a protest, I see it from, I didn't think of it that way in the nation of privacy. I look at it from like a police perspective. I have some experience in situational awareness and risk management. I look at it like that drone can go out a half mile or so from the scene and make sure there's no somebody coming to hurt the people protesting. And I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but whenever there is an organized protest, we usually put something together to make sure everyone's safe. We don't broadcast that. I guess I just did broadcast it, but we're out there to make sure everyone's safe. So that's how I would look at it. That's how I would use it. Being a couple blocks away or half mile away to make sure nobody's...
I'm aware of the perimeter and some of the work that is done to keep us safe. I'm merely quoting a former sheriff.
Sure.
And a kick he seemed to get out of being able to identify at an individual level.
Who's no longer there either.
Yeah, I was going to say, good for that.
And you know, we'll judge the current sheriff on a record when she's retired or voted out of office. But we also don't know who the future sheriff will be. And you know, as I say, I've not been treated with anything but disrespect. But this makes me increasingly uncomfortable. Not just out in the street or from above, but when I'm using my phone or my computer, or talking to a friend, I do not want to live in a surveillance state.
Go
One
ahead.
more thing, I promise.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's it, Joanne.
I organize a lot of these protests down in Hudson, and we've had great cooperation from the Hudson Police. They have protected us terrifically, absolutely terrifically. My concern, because I am involved in various advocacy groups, is that drones are, like I said, picking out faces in the crowd. What if our current president and his regime decide they want those records to see who is doing it in the community? Now, maybe you think we're small in Hudson, and we are, but I'm very concerned about, voting records are being taken, things like that. I'm really concerned with my own personal protection in just being able to speak my mind.
Understood. And you have read this, the legal and constitutional compliance, okay? And that could change.
I know. The Constitution seems to be
But,
changing in some people's minds daily.
Sure. Anything else, anybody else? Hearing none, I totally could stay because we're gonna be here for a while. If everybody would like to, or you're welcome to leave, but we're gonna keep moving through. If we go on to department reports, the building report,
Oh, I just want to say one thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
There we go.
Hey, if you guys are bailing out, listen, thank you. This is,
Thank you.
we're friends.
Yes.
I mean, you know, I still have to walk down here to
Yeah, you know. Be careful.
So, at the end of the day, we appreciate
Even
it.
your attorney would say. It's a dangerous place.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Don't forget the parties at Pete's.
Mary Ellen.
Don't forget your pen. Oh, thank you. What'd you say, Pete?
Oh, the defense over there, yes, yeah, but it's, the new one in connection with the
So we'll start with department reports. Building department. Erin has been convalescing. She's not here. Do we have a report?
Sam's going to.
Sam, go ahead.
0 commercial and 7 residential permits issued renewed. 4 new complaints and 2 of them closed. 1 appeal before the zoning board. 3 residential and 1 commercial CO searches. 1 fire inspection notice sent. 14 residential and 3 commercial certificate of occupancy completions issued. 12 residential, 5 commercial permit inspection completed, 8 complaint inspections completed, $3,066 payments received, and her reports are attached.
Any questions? Hearing none. Police department, Joe.
So we've begun planning for our summer events. It seems like the summer is going to be rather busy. I think when I last checked, we're going to have an event every other weekend, starting next month, right through to the fair. Officer O'Brien's doing well in her final phases of her training. We also anticipate interviewing an additional prospective member in the coming months, and we'll probably have more in next month or maybe the month after's meeting about that. And we're proactively continuing to recruit for additional candidates. We've done some focused enforcement in the school zones. The weather's gotten nicer, officers are back out on foot. We've completed our 2025-2026 mandatory department training with the exception of firearms training, which is typically in September, October. We'll talk about the other thing. Grant writing, I've started writing a couple additional grants for some community policing engagements. The next one on my list will be CSX, which I'm hoping to have more at next meeting. As the mayor alluded to, I met with the sheriff, discussed strengthening our working relationship, focusing on some shared services, including drone training, as well as possible other services that both agencies utilize, and we're going to continue down that path. And that is it. We'll get on the other topic when we get to the resolution.
Questions for Joe? Hearing none. Fire department report.
I've been voluntold to read this
Oh,
report.
you're doing it? Who did that?
March was a steady month for call volumes, no major incidents. The past month we had hydrant, brush, fire, and fit testing for all interior firefighters. Fire department participated in Chatham Central School Wellness Night and promoted our recruiting effort. All apparatus is in good working order. The brush truck continues diligently by Phil. Station is in good working order, good is in quotes. The past month, the insurance company completed their boiler inspection, and later in April, membership will be doing their station cleanup, spring cleanup. Membership remains stable. They continue to work towards how they can increase and stabilize responder numbers. During Lent, the annual fish fry was good. This is the largest fundraiser, one of the larger fundraisers. And you have a resolution, the companies did their annual elections this past week, and if all goes to plan, this may be the last dual company elections as the consolidation moves forward in this calendar year. Thank you, Chief Barnes.
Oh, yay,
Consolidation sounds
that's
good.
amazing.
Sounds good. Okay, DPW, Ralph, you bonded with
Phil,
on Friday, you went for a field trip.
yeah, he took me for a ride, figuratively and literally. So we went and looked at where the water line is and where they're proposing to take it if we do the backup well out there. So it was interesting going through the woods, through the fields. They maintain an amazing amount of line out there, just phenomenal, and it's wilderness. One field we went through. I don't, other than that, I thought it was good to know where we're planning on putting the backup well on the site, everything, get familiar with it. So it was a good orientation for me. I know last week you guys had a meeting with Lavella on the well project, and they're continually working on that. Have we gotten a proposal from them, an actual proposal with money and numbers and
No,
stuff yet?
and it's gonna be here probably within the next week or so.
Okay.
There was a number of things that after this meeting they had to put together with subcontractors and stuff, but that was part of the agenda, so yeah, the
Okay.
proposals coming.
Cool. That's all I have. And I didn't think he submitted a report or anything.
No, and again, I won't say it's quiet time, it's spring cleanup. They're out there cleaning up after the winter, some of the grass areas that were plowed up, and I think they're doing yard debris pickup on a regular basis. It has to be bagged, and small limbs are being picked up on a daily basis. I'm not sure when that ends, but that's pretty much what they're concentrating on. We'll move on to committees, only because Desiree keeps us in good order. The number one was sidewalk committee. I established a sidewalk committee, and we really haven't done anything. And after having a conversation in-house today, there's a number of things that have come up in the last month or so, and they get put into a desk, my desk, to be ever, never talked about again. We're looking at revision of some of our codes regarding parking. We had a meeting this last week. Ken was there with the two judges from the town court clerks, regarding how we're doing it. Joe was there, parking tickets. So instead of just sidewalks, I think we have to look at a comprehensive review of our codes, our village codes, to encompass all of that in there. And sidewalks would be one of those things, especially when we get into winter time, we usually snow emergencies, and that was all part of it. So instead of trying to do a piecemeal, you want me to take a deep breath, take a look, put everybody together, start handing some of this off to the trustees. Okay, Karen, sidewalks, Ralph, parking, Pete, we'll pass them along and do a little research. Joe's already done some preliminary research a few months ago, and it's just one of those things that just doesn't bubble to the top, so hold that thought. Having said that, I need a motion to approve the minutes of March 19th, regular board meeting. Can I get a motion? Motion. And a second?
Second.
All in favor? I need a motion to approve the minutes of the March 26th special meeting, budget to trustees. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Can't believe I was there. Yeah, second.
All in favor? I need a motion to approve minutes of April 1st organizational meeting. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor? I need a motion to approve the March 2026 budget actuals. Can I get a motion? Motion. And a second. All in favor? All right, new business, resolution 51 to adopt the 2026-2027 budget as presented to the Board of Trustees on March 26th. I need a roll call vote. First of all, I need a motion
Motion.
and a second.
Second.
Pete, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ralph, how do you vote?
Yes.
Karen, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All good?
Yes.
Resolution 52 to approve budget transfer in amount of $3,724.53 from buildings equipment line to building C repair due to boiler repairs being more than anticipated. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
This isn't over with yet. We'll be doing this again. These boilers driving us nuts, but all in favor? Resolution 53 to approve the Chatham Fire Department General Convention 2026-2027 appointment of Eric Barnes as fire chief. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
54 to approve Chatham Fire Department General Convention appointment of Andy Silver as first assistant chief. Can we get a motion?
Motion.
A second.
Second.
All in favor? 55 to the Chatham Fire Department General Convention appointment of Phil Genovese as second assistant fire chief. Motion? Motion. A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 56 to authorize Bowden Palladino to attend sewer school at SUNY Morrisville from May 18th to the 22nd at a cost. Course registration is $650 plus hotel accommodation mileage reimbursement covered is 0.725 miles and $50 a daily meal allowance. Can I get a motion? And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just a note that Bowden has finished his first, was it 2 weeks?
3 weeks total,
It was 3 weeks total.
and no, this will be the fourth.
This will be the 4th week, so he's really dialed in. It's a huge young guy. I mean, I don't know if he's having fun, but.
He's going to the class.
What do you say? He says it's hard.
He said it's hard.
It's hard, I'm sure. God bless him.
Good.
Resolution 57 to expend up to 30, now this says 30 on yours. We upped that to 35,000 at the last minute from the Village of Chatham Water Main Replacement Reserve Fund. And that was established by Resolution 167 in 2023. A type capital improvement reserve fund, subject to permissive referendum covering invoices for the Coleman Street water main. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
The second. That had to do with that water main break where we had to dig up the state highway and everything else. It took us forever.
Payne House.
Yeah, so, any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Resolution 58, this was tabled to amend the budget for the use of the unappropriated signed fund balance to reflect the increase in police equipment line. And you can read this, I'll read it, but it has to do with the drone. Whereas the police department was awarded LET Tech grant in March of 2024, and the remaining funds associated with this grant are now in the unappropriated fund balances still need to be spent. Whereas pursuant to the Village Law 5520, appropriation of necessary funds may be made by transferring available funds from an unappropriated fund balance into if the general fund and such unappropriated fund balance contains sufficient funds for appropriate transfer. Now therefore be resolved that the 2025-2026 Village of Chatham General Fund budget is hereby modified as follows. As you can see, I'm going to read it. It's $12,984 and zero.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to ask for a motion to move this money, and we'll answer that question. I need a motion. Motion. And a second. I'll second it, so we can have a discussion. So Ralph, the discussion is?
So this is money that's actually going to be used for Resolution 59?
Correct. And we have to do this prior to, so we can't resolve to buy something if we don't have the money.
Okay, so I'm going to vote no for this
Okay.
because I'm against the purchase of the drone.
Okay. We'll do a roll call. Karen?
And at the moment, I'm a no.
Okay. Pete?
Yes, aye.
And I'll be a yes. Ken, tell us what we got.
it's a non-action, so it could be brought up again at some point. It's neither denial, it's neither rejected nor approved, so.
So there's no sense in having the next one, because we don't have the funding for it.
Right.
Okay. So here's what I would propose is, because we're short Melanie's here, is to bring this up again at the next month meeting, not to beat a dead horse or anything, but then we'll have a true majority, whether it's no or it's yes. Okay?
That's what I thought we were doing, I was surprised it was on tonight, because
Well,
she said she wasn't coming.
She wasn't, and originally she wasn't, or somebody was missing last month.
Yeah, her.
And, yeah.
Yeah, because she said I won't be here next, and she
And-
said she'll have to be bumped again.
The problem we're running now is this could go on for
Sure, I get
forever.
it.
So,
Yeah.
so I moved it with the idea that this was probably would take place, and that's fine. And then when Melanie comes back and we have a full board, we will reintroduce it, and the chips fall anyway. Okay? So, I guess just for sake of the record keeping, I don't know, Desiree will have to talk about how we reintroduce this, but the next one will have to be tabled again. Okay? Ken, anything to add to that? I'm good with that. Okay, we need to have a resolution regarding the Shaker Museum, and can we make that resolution 60? And I don't know how to word it, but to give permission to the,
To approve the application submitted by the Shaker Museum for the 2026 gala being held on June 27th, and the insurance and details have been provided.
the times and everything been provided. And they need to have some clearance, clarity so that they can do their planning, and Dana's been here for a long.
With the use of the tent.
Use of the tent, yeah. And again, Joe and Aaron are gonna meet with them again, just to clarify any small details. That Jail Street thing we talked about, I think that's the issue of it.
Even if it did, is that what would be the worst case scenario with that, with the Jail Street cable? Just the traffic on?
Traffic for the neighbors, I wouldn't want that, quite frankly. It's only a couple of neighbors, and coming up on Mineral Street's a little bit of an issue.
No, I understand.
So, you heard the resolution, do you want it repeated or in some other form? Otherwise, can I get a motion
Motion.
and a second?
Second.
Any further conversation? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll get that signed, sealed, and delivered.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience.
No,
I
thank
mean,
you.
you shouldn't be nervous. Dana, thank you, and again,
I'm not gonna say that, yeah, I'm not gonna say that I didn't dream about it like for the past 3 nights, but thank you.
but thank you for hanging in there, we appreciate it.
These are organized.
I'm sorry.
Can you add a suspension of open container law for that night? Sorry.
Okay, so that'd be an additional resolution or added to the resolution?
Additional, I think it needs to be.
So it'd be a resolution 61 to suspend the open container law. Do you want to delineate the area?
6 p.m. to midnight at the Shaker Museum Gala.
We don't need any of that.
No.
You good with that? So we get a motion? Motion. A second.
Second.
All in favor? You guys got that?
May I ask a clarifying question? And this was something I planned to ask you about another time, but with the open container suspension, is that within like the parameters of the tent, or is it like within? I just want to know what to tell my boss about where it starts and ends
It's within your event.
within the event. Okay.
What is, does that include, is that gonna be just a tent, or is that like up to Park Row, or what, or do you not know what the, do you not know what the parameters?
Within their event, that's why I said it like that. So they're using the bathrooms in Jack Shear's building?
Yeah, that is the plan right now. know, I'm not sure,
So-
because I don't know if, that's a kind of a walk for people, and that's what I'm concerned about, is like people.
Yeah, so up till Park Row, because that's part of the, I would consider that part of the event. Yeah,
But that could be clarified as we get closer to it.
yeah, again,
The main thing is the principle of it. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's-
Yeah.
Okay, we good?
Thank you.
Some informational budget tax warrant approval dates. The 15th is the last day to pay sewer charges to avoid sewer levy and tax bills. That's the 15th. The 23rd, we have to have a special meeting for tax warrant approval set for 5 p.m. 3 to be there, it's going to take us all of what? 3 minutes? I was going to try to get it to 2, but
I bet you do.
yeah. So if we can get a quorum for that, and that's just a, statutory thing. Some items for discussion, we talked about the letter of support from Congressman Josh Riley. I thought that was important. Public safety building, Melanie, and she sent some information out. She met with the ladies auxiliary, the Chatham Fire Department, with some questions, call concerns at this point regarding going forward with the public safety building. Again, we reiterate that it's in its infancy stage, that all these things will be taken in consideration. It's all good information as we move forward. And again, I've got to meet with a particular individual on a piece of property. We just haven't been hooking up. Hopefully get that'll be done before next month. So we will have a definitive, and Ralph knows this, it's either going to be here or it's going to be here. We'll be able to nail that in May. Should be able to, unless something pops up.
Melanie did a great job on that email before our meeting with them. That was really a
Yeah.
good email.
So it's keeping everybody in the loop. And again, we try to, and even, I know, fire department and the auxiliary, we try to encourage them that, look, this is public. It's been public. We've been talking about this since 2022. It's not a surprise. Our meeting minutes are online. You're welcome to come to any meeting, because there was some discussion about not knowing anything, what's going on. Well, whatever's going on, we're talking about it here. It may not be a lot that's going on, but it's here, and there's minutes taken for that. So Melanie did a good job on that.
Yeah.
Again, there's some of these folks that were just here. Traffic counting cameras. Somebody brought it to my attention that a couple of cameras showed up in the village. They were along a long pole, and one was on Woodbridge Avenue, and somehow got taken down and put in the back of the building. And after whoever took that down made some phone calls and found out it's the DOT doing traffic studies, and it's contingent on our CHIP money, which we get about $130,000 for annually. And while people feel it's intrusive, the fact of the matter is that counting traffic, they don't take pictures of license plates. Fact is, the company that the DOT contracts with, this is what they use. They put them in specific areas for 1 week at a time to count traffic. The class of vehicle and the number of vehicles. And that they use going forward for planning purposes of the DOT and how we get our CHIPS money. They will now be giving me and Phil a schedule of when and where they'll be 2 or 3 weeks prior to them going up. But it's not, I don't want to say it's not Big Brother, but it's the way they do things now. I asked if we could go back to the counters that they put in the roadway. You used to see the little tubes.
Yeah.
They do not have that available in their bid, so I asked for that. I thought it was, what people thought was less intrusive. The fact of the matter is, if we want our CHIPS money, we got to pay. So after whoever asked those to be taken down had us tell them to come get them here behind the Tracy. Just saying. We won't do that again. We're going to bid for refuse collection. I asked, because we have to do this in a regular, timely manner, that instead of doing a 3-year contract, we asked for a 1-year contract. Due to the fact that the prices continue to go up, I think we still have to look at what our options might be. We just haven't had time to do that. We've done a lot of research. I don't think there's any other options other than what we're doing. Unfortunately, short of, okay, we're getting out of the garbage business, hiring your own people, figure it out. I'm not sure we want to go there yet, but we're gonna go to bid and see what this bid comes in at, and then we'll have that conversation when we open the bid up, because we want to continue going forward.
When's the bids due?
The contract's up June 1st,
June 30th.
June 30th.
Bids are due the day of the next meeting.
Yeah, so the next meeting we'll have the bids. And whether, and quite frankly, the last couple times we've done it, we get more. They have a captive audience, so stay tuned on that.
How many village residents are there?
They contract for 750 stops. It's only residential, they don't do any commercial pickup, we don't pay for commercial pickup. The dilemma is, and I've done some research with other companies, is okay, I come in, I'm such and such garbage company or trash collection. You need a container, so I need 750 containers at $100. So I gotta put out $750,000 before I even, or not, 75,000, I'm sorry. $75,000 before I even put a bid in, and he says, well, I don't have a bid for 3 or 4 years, I'm not gonna give him the first year away. So people want their recyclables picked up, they have to have a container. The flip side is many people now are taking their trash, put it in the recycling bin, and they're not getting the sticker, so we're losing revenue there. So people are scamming the system. We're finding more and more of that, so stay tuned. Make Music Day, we saw some flyers, we're gonna get it out. Met with a couple principals, I thought it'd be pretty cool, June 21st. As they get a little closer, not even a little closer, I'm gonna talk to Joe Alessi, but just kind of a community-wide Make Music Day. And we'll go from there. PS21 is gonna have a little play in that. Heavy trash drop-off, that's been in effect, the vouchers are here, and the burn ban is in effect through May 14th.
On the Make Music Day task force, is that like, does the street get closed off?
No, the streets be closed off. It's just, they do this in Paris, it's a big thing in New York City, where they'll go in front of a venue, whether it's the pub out front, somebody, they think they're a musician, if they never played a guitar, they want to play a guitar, they play, they might be in the gas station doing a harmonica or a saxophone on a street corner, but they encourage everybody to come out on that day. And if a shop owner wants to put a lead cord out and have somebody with a guitar out front, we may use the gazebo if there's a group that wants to. It's kind of a work in progress.
I saw that.
They've been doing that for.
Thinking we're gonna close the road.
No, so that's not gonna happen. Anything else? That's all I got. Is there any other public comment? Dana, anything else? We're all good. I'll make a motion for adjournment. In a second.
Second.
We'll be adjourned. Thank you.